John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another head by Annihilator, and this is one of the Annihilator originals. It's the XL model of their 3-blade broadhead, and now they use a new steel, a new proprietary steel that they introduced first with their katana, but in 2026 they're using it for all of their broadheads. So I haven't tested the Annihilator XL in a long time. I'm really eager to put this one to the test. It's going to be the 125 grain single bevel XL. But in all the tests I've done of Annihilators, and especially the katanas in recent times, have impressed me so much that I reach out to them and asked them if they give me a discount code, and they did. So if you use the discount code LUSK10, LUSK10, when you order them from their website, you save 10% on any order. And they're not really cheap, so that 10%, it really does add up. And you can use that for all the katanas, which have tested extremely well as for all of the Annihilator models. And for this test, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2026. Please check out the video that I posted earlier this year called 2026 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through all the testing that I'm doing. There's a lot of changes in 2026, so please watch it so you can be up to date with what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I quantify it, and so forth. And for all the vertical bow shooting, I'm using my Elite Eon Compound bow, and for the crossbow shooting, I'm using my Ravin LR, shooting at 450 feet per second. Wow, I'm loving that thing too. And for the arrows, I'm using Bishop Archery arrows. Let's zoom on in here, check out this Annihilator, and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at the Annihilator XL 125 grain single bevel. So I'm really excited to test the XLs. Last year I tested the Annihilator original size in a single bevel, and then earlier this year I tested the double bevel XL, and now I'm going to be testing the single bevel XL. Now, some advantages just before I dive into the specifics about the single bevel is by and large it's sharper because you don't have this 60-degree bevel to worry about like you do with the double bevel. It's 60 degrees, and that makes it difficult to get. You can only get it so sharp with a 60-degree bevel, but this is half that. And so you can get it sharper, and then you can get it in left bevel or right bevel, and you're going to get a rotation with this broadhead that you're not going to get with a double bevel. But on the downside, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to resharpen. Now, it's not that difficult because you can just lay a sharpener, a file or whatever, right across a stone, right across the edge here and stroke it very carefully. But with a double bevel, you can just lay it flat on any stone or surface and sharpen it. So everything's a trade-off. But today I'm going to be testing the single bevel, and those are the advantages of it. Now, this too in 2026 is made with a new steel, the proprietary steel that Annihilator is using for their katana and all of their Annihilator broadheads. And it's proprietary. Some people scoff at that, but they feel like they're onto something really good and they don't want to share what it is. But they do have a chart that I can show a picture of here that compares the strengths of this steel and its properties to other popular steels and premium steels that are used in broadheads and knife applications. And whether you trust it or not doesn't really matter because the proof's in the pudding. We're going to see what happens based on the test of the broadhead itself. Now, in terms of the dimensions, again, it's one piece of that proprietary steel, 3-blade. The dimensions is 1 1/16 inches in diameter. The length is 1.14 inches, and the thickness of the blades is 0.046 inches thick. Now, the thing that Annihilator is known for is what they call this 8mm cavitation scoop that just creates a mass displacement of tissue and a non-closing wound channel, as they say. It creates a vacuum inside of an animal, like a liquid-based medium like that causes just extra internal damage. And here you can see what I'm talking about is you look at the silver 3 blades, and that's what you normally get with a 3-blade broadhead. But then you you can see the black part in between those blades. That's just the bottom of that cavitation scoop, and that's how much tissue you're actually going to be displacing. Kind of in a ramp form or a wedge form, you're just displacing a significantly greater amount of tissue that again is going to create a wound channel that's going to be difficult to close up. And this being the single bevel model, you're also going to get a rotation that's going to create an even more wicked wound channel. So I really look forward to seeing how that pans out and what it looks like when I shoot it into the steel plate. And you can read about how to resharpen all the Annihilator and Katana broadheads on their website. Now, the price of these comes out at $25 per broadhead, but I have a discount code with LUSK10 on their website. You can use that and save on any of their broadheads, the Katanas and the Annihilators. Anything they've got, you can save 10% on it. So that's a really good deal. And I look forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs. With my Elite compound bow, the Annihilator XL just clipped the bullseye. I'd shot it previously with my Elite as well and drilled the bullseye, but then I couldn't find the footage of that clip, so that's why I redid it with the footage I just showed. And with the Ravin at 450 feet per second, it also got the bullseye. It took 161 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a proportional bonus of 0.39 for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 7.5 inches. It took an additional 33 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.34 on a 10-point scale. And it also gets a 2-point bonus for both the sharpness and edge retention being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated through 65 layers, which is a 9.29 on a 10-point scale. It rotated 90 degrees at 12 inches. Wow, that's a lot more than I was expecting. It's in excellent condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. And it's still in pristine condition after the 2 shots through the steel plate. And check out these holes, man. I love these triangular cutout holes that the Annihilators make, and then the single bevel just puts a twist on the end of each one of the tips. That's a wound channel that's not going to close up easily. Here it is after all the durability testing, and man, it held up extremely well through the MDF. It was perfect through the steel plate, was perfect into the cinder block. I mean, my goodness, it penetrated so deeply, and due to that rotation, got a little bit of damage there. You can see, especially on that edge, but also on that edge. And just that's what happens when you get that much rotation into a cinder block like that with a single bevel. Sometimes you get that, but just the tiniest bit of chatter. Not perfect durability, but man, about as close as you can get. So what'd you think? Man, this is just another winner of a broadhead by Annihilator. I knew it was going to perform really well, but it even exceeded my expectations. I found it to be a perfect counterpart to the double bevel XL. That just scored extremely well. That too exceeded my expectations. One of the small drawbacks of that double bevel is it doesn't quite get as sharp as some people would like because the 60-degree bevel that you have in a one-piece 3-blade broadhead. But that's where this single bevel really shines, is it was much sharper out of the package than the double bevel. Now, one of the drawbacks of that is it's a little bit harder to resharpen. You can't just lay it flat and stroke away like you can with the double bevel, and that edge is not quite as resilient as it is with that thicker 60-degree bevel. But for sharpness and flight and penetration and all the other areas, man, it just performed exceptionally well. And then you also get that rotation in addition to the sharpness. So pick your poison, man. Pick your lethal weapon. They're both really good. And when I think about taking them on a hunt, I find myself wrestling. Do I want to go double bevel? Do I want to go single bevel? Either way, you can't go wrong. You pick the one that you feel the most confident with. But hey, you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if this might be a good fit for you and your hunting needs. You can find the details of how it did in every one of the tests I do. It's all recorded in the video description. But in a minute here, stay tuned for a summary of that score sheet, as well as a corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer you, like for Annihilator and all their Katana line of broadheads, all their broadheads, Lusk 10 saves you 10%. But stay tuned for the slide that'll show all the discount codes I have, because there's a lot more than just Annihilator. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.